Cloud. All right, we are recording.
Great.
Sunjay, thank you for joining me today.
Thank
Where
you.
does this conversation find you today?
So I am right here in my apartment in College Station, Texas, the homeland.
Awesome, Sunjay. Tell me your name, where you're from, and the high school that you attended.
Sure. So my name is Sunjay Letchuman. I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana, not too far from here, just about 4.5 hours. And I went to Caddo Magnet High School.
Excellent. What year are you and what are you studying at Texas A&M?
So I'm about to begin my junior year of college now. So I'm just finishing up the summer after my sophomore year. And I'm in the business honors program here at A&M, which I'm very fortunate to be in the program. In addition to doing business, I'm also on the pre-medical track. So my interest in business and medicine have kind of led me to this field of health policy, which is what I absolutely love, and I'm sure we're going to talk about a lot today. I'm really lucky actually to be at a university that allows business students to focus their education on healthcare by offering courses like the business of healthcare. Because the truth is that healthcare has become a business, and that's not necessarily a good thing. But I'm fortunate, really fortunate, to receive guidance from business professors here who study healthcare, such as Dr. Leonard Berry, and Dr. Kayla Klein, who I've had the pleasure of doing research with since coming to A&M.
That's awesome. So we've just talked about what you're doing right now, and we're going to skip a little bit part of kind of that pathway just for right this moment. But what's next for you immediately or after A&M and into the future?
Sure. So very exciting news that I was recently notified of. I recently found out that I was accepted into the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai through a program called FlexMed. So the Icahn School of Medicine is located in New York City, and it's just a phenomenal research medical school in our country. FlexMed, which is the program that I was accepted through, is an early assurance program for students in their sophomore year of college. And the program allows students to pursue a subject that they're really interested in, unencumbered by some of the traditional pre-med requirements. I'm very lucky, of course, to have been accepted into this program. And for the next 2 years, I'll have the opportunity to basically focus on my passion of health policy. And that'll be through coursework and through research, as well as extracurricular activities such as writing articles for my health policy blog, which I really enjoy doing. I can't say exactly what awaits for me after medical school in New York, but after completing my residency, I would love to serve in the military for at least a couple of years. Really, because this country has given my family so much, I want to serve and give back to our country in a way that I can really make an impact. Later, as a physician in the civilian world, I hope to experience the issues in our healthcare system, because we do have several issues with our healthcare system that I want to help and try to ameliorate. And I want to get involved with policy as soon as possible. So I believe that doctors and other healthcare professionals, such as nurses and other providers, can bring a unique perspective to the health policy world because they're on the ground actually treating patients directly. So they're able to see the problems that directly affect patient care. And that's kind of important, at least in my opinion, in figuring out what the best way is to solve these issues.
That sounds like an incredible opportunity, and almost feels uncharted, though I'm guessing that there are a few others that have done that, but it still feels you making your own pathway. How did you receive that opportunity?
Yeah, there are so many people, several people who made this medical school dream of mine come true. Even though I may appear as the face, there's a lot of people behind me who you can't see that made this possible. I guess I can start actually a little bit in high school. So I began getting interested in policy back in high school, but it really wasn't until college when I realized where I could go with this passion of mine. So immediately before beginning college, I was fortunate to go on a trip to Italy with about 30 other Texas A&M students and faculty. And on the trip, I had this one-on-one meeting with Dr. Suma Dada, who currently serves as the assistant provost for undergraduate studies. So after telling her all my interests, she kind of looked at me for a second and she said, well, you know, Sanjay, it sounds like you're interested in public policy. And that's when I realized how health policy encompassed my interest in business and medicine. From that point onwards, Dr. Dada served and was my academic mentor. And I haven't actually made a single major academic decision without first speaking to her about it, and including applying to the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai. So then during my first semester of college is where things really started to take off. I took a course called The Business of Healthcare with just 4 other students. And through that class, I was connected with a professor named Dr. Kayla Klein, who's a professor in the accounting department. I was really interested in exploring a research idea, and even though I was a freshman, she happily took me on as her research student. I was thrilled to see that business professors at Texas A&M actually studied healthcare, and I thought that was very unique. I didn't know that a lot of business professors studied healthcare as their focus of their research. And since that point, Dr. Klein and I have been working on this research project on how certain patient safety measures within a hospital can reduce the number of healthcare acquired infections, which are infections a patient gets as a result of actually being in the hospital, not infection that they actually brought into the hospital. So they're quite a problem. About 1.7 million patients walk into a hospital in the United States every single year and pick up an infection they didn't have before they got to the hospital. So we're looking at how we can reduce that number of healthcare acquired infections. To keep my love for clinical medicine close, I began conducting research, biomedical research this time, on spinal cord injury under the direction of Dr. Jennifer Doolin. So research is really the backbone, in my opinion. It's the backbone to medicine. And I believe that's important to have some research experience, even if I'm working on the health administration side of a hospital, because many major hospitals are also research institutions. And Dr. Doolin is an amazing research mentor, and she's supportive, so supportive of all my many interests. And she's constantly pushing me and shows all her lab members, I should say, what an effective leader looks like. So really these 3 women, Dr. Dada, Dr. Klein, and Dr. Doolin, have gone out of their way, literally out of their way, to make this medical school opportunity possible. They all supported my application in multiple ways and have guided me through every step of college. And I'm totally confident that this opportunity would not have materialized without them.
It's interesting. So Sunjay, you're really articulate, and you're all there and all together, and you've got these incredible opportunities that are happening for you. Coming in as a freshman, how many people entering college don't have a lot of confidence. What would you say to someone like that is entering college, has this big new world that they're entering? How would you, guide them to be able to pursue the dreams like it sounds like you're pursuing?
Sure, I can try to give the best advice that I can think of. But first, when choosing a college, when choosing university, I think it's really important to find a university that shares your goals. So not every university may be aligned with your goals. If you're interested in going into business, there are these number of universities, but within those universities, not every business school is actually looking for students to possibly go into healthcare. They may want most of their students to go into the finance industry. And that's one of the main reasons I actually came to Texas A&M was when I came to kind of learn more about the business honors program. They said that there were several students in our program who were pre-med, who were trying to go to medical school. And we actually send several students to medical school every single year. So that's why I kind of realized that my goals aligned with May's Business School's goals of getting students into the healthcare field and bringing their business interest along. So that's my advice in terms of choosing a college. But once you're in college, it's really important to know that every major institution, such as Texas A&M or really any other major university, has tons of opportunities. A lot of these universities, like Texas A&M, are Tier 1 research institutions, which means that you can basically do any kind of research here. So the most important thing I would say is get a mentor. Find a professor or an administrative staff who has a lot more experience than you. For me, that mentor was Dr. Dada. Dr. Dada has been critical in my undergraduate life. She has truly guided me through every major step that I've taken since starting college. Dr. Dada was a professor in biochemistry for so many years, so she has a lot of experience that she's now graciously giving to me. And what I've found is that professors are more than happy to help students and to guide students down the right path. But you have to ask. So a lot of students may be a little scared to go out and approach a professor and say that they're interested in receiving their guidance, but I don't think you should be scared at all, because the professors at your university want you to succeed. So I just want a lot of students, at least if they're incoming students to Texas A&M, to know that there are an incredible number of opportunities waiting for you in any field that you want to go to, especially at big universities like Texas A&M. So my advice is to reach out and don't be shy.
Thank you. How has your expectation of what being a student at Texas A&M would be like been fulfilled? And how has it worked out differently than what you expected?
Sure, I expected there to be a lot of opportunities because this was a major institution, but I did not expect for there to be specifically, I'll get specific, I didn't expect for there to be business professors who conducted healthcare research, who actually well known, such as Dr. Leonard Berry, who teaches a healthcare marketing class and that I recently took. I didn't expect for there to literally be classes that were targeted towards business students who wanted to go into healthcare. I also didn't expect to be accepted per se by Dr. Jennifer Doolin into her lab. So Dr. Doolin does biomedical research in spinal cord injury, trying to use stem cells to ameliorate some of the problems associated with spinal cord injury and restore locomotor function lost after injury. I was a business student, and actually when I was coming into A&M during my first semester, Dr. Doolin accepted me into her lab, even though I wasn't the traditional biology student. And students may not expect for that to be possible, but it is. And that's what I'm really grateful for. I'm really grateful that she took me on as a student, and I didn't exactly expect. I knew that Texas A&M was a huge university, right? It has like 60,000 students. So I was a little afraid that maybe I could just get lost among the students. But as soon as I got here, I quickly realized that you can form a sense of community pretty fast. Because there's so many students, there are most definitely students who share your interest. I am not the only student, and this is really amazing to me. I'm not the only student at the business school who's interested in going to healthcare, who's interested in becoming a doctor. There's multiple students in my class who want to go down that same path. So we quickly formed a sense of community, and some students even formed the Mays Medical Guild, just for Mays students who want to go into the healthcare field. So those are kind of the things that I wasn't sure about coming into A&M, but have quickly realized how everything has worked out beautifully.
That's awesome. What is a day-to-day, what does a daily life look like for you? For example, yesterday we were talking before we began this interview, and tell me a little bit about what a day-to-day rhythm looks like for you.
Sure. Once I wake up and get ready, nowadays, usually I head to the lab. So like I mentioned, I work in Dr. Jennifer Doolin's lab, and we study spinal cord injury. And one of the main reasons I wanted to get involved with biomedical research, I believe I mentioned this a little bit before, but it's really because research is the backbone to medicine. So it's important to understand clinically relevant research such as that's done in Dr. Doolin's lab. So I usually go there and spend a few hours there working on whatever experiments that we're doing. The people in the lab are incredible. So even if I didn't have an experiment going on, I love to go there and spend time with them. And once I kind of finish there, I usually get home and try to get some other work done. I'm always trying to stay productive, especially these days in which it may be a little easier to start laxing, getting too relaxed. Because we're home all days. And then I'm also working on a research project with Dr. Kayla Klein, which I briefly mentioned about patient safety and reducing the number of healthcare-acquired infections. So I try to get some work done on that project because we want to get it out, and the ultimate goal is to get that research published, because when you publish research, that's how you share your results with others, and that's how we move forward as a country in improving patient safety within hospitals. So I try to get some of that stuff done too. And then towards the end of the day, I always like to spend time with my roommate. So my roommate is my best friend, Robert Brown, and we always spend time together after we get our work done for the day.
That's a great segue to one of my last questions is, outside the classroom and the lab, in the normal daily rhythms of life, what's something you enjoy that brings you life?
Sure. I'm going to talk about pre-pandemic times
There
to
you go.
answer this question. Before all of this COVID-19 stuff started to happen and we were all in person, one of the most enlightening experiences I should say I've had is meeting one new person every single day. So beginning towards the end of my first semester of college, I started meeting one new person every single day. And it's really easy here at Texas A&M because there are about 60,000 students here. So what I realized was that I was seeing thousands of people every single day, seeing thousands of students every single day. But I wasn't actually noticing them. I would just see them. Once I started meeting one new person every single day, I actually started noticing all the people that were around me. It turns out that they're around me all the time. I just had never noticed them before. And it was so easy to meet people because during lunchtime, a lot of people go to the MSC or other food courts around campus. So I would go there too to grab lunch. And after I'd grab lunch, I'd just kind of look around and I'd usually see someone who is sitting alone. And if they weren't studying and if they were just eating, I would go up to them and ask them if I could sit down with them and eat with them. And the response was almost always yes. Through that experience, I've met hundreds of students, and it's been one of the most enriching experiences of my entire life. I've met people from all around the world, from Australia to the Marshall Islands. You can really find almost anyone here, and I really love storytelling. And everyone has a story, so I love to hear other people's stories. And when I started to notice people and keep up with their stories, it was really fulfilling, I should say, since coming to Texas A&M.
That's a great practice. So tell me, again, nearing the end here, but what is something or who is someone that you're grateful for?
Sure, there are several people that I could name. I mean, so many people have made all these opportunities possible. But on a more personal side, I can really talk about two families. First, my own family. I have two incredibly loving parents and three brothers, and we're all quite close, all four of us boys, and as well as my parents. And they are so supportive of just about everything I do. And of course, I get to talk to them every single day, and they give me a lot of guidance too. My parents are much wiser than I am, and I'm always talking to them about what I'm interested in or what I think is best for me, and then they offer their advice and of course their financial support, which us college students can't get away from right now. But just about in every single way, they've always been there. Even when things don't work out perfectly, they're still there. And beyond my family, I briefly mentioned Robert Brown, who's my best friend, but his whole family has had a major impact on my life as well. So Robert and I became best friends in 7th grade, and we were determined to go to college together. So we're really happy to be here together. But his mom, Penny, was actually the first one to tell me about this FlexMed program. She had heard about the program and thought it would be a good fit for me. I'm so grateful that she told me about it, because after reading about the program, I did realize that it was a good fit for me with my interest in business and policy, and combining that with my interest in healthcare and medicine. But beyond her advice to apply to this program, our families are so close, my family and her whole family. So they're constantly teaching me things. And I'm so grateful for them, just as I am my own family. So I'm kind of lucky. I really feel like I have two families. And that's been pretty amazing.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing. So as we wrap up this interview, Sunjay, thank you so much for sharing your work with us. Before we wrap, is there anything that I didn't touch on that you'd like to share?
We really did hit the high points, but I will say one thing. since getting accepted into this program, I want to make a goal for myself to really try to help other Mays students get accepted into medical school, or even accepted into this program if they're interested in it. So hopefully, if students are at Mays listening to this and they're interested in healthcare, want to get interested in healthcare, please reach out. If you haven't realized yet, I'm absolutely obsessed with healthcare policy. Just about everything I do somehow relates to healthcare policy. I'm always reading, writing, speaking about healthcare policy. So if other students are interested in it, I definitely encourage them to reach out to me or other business students who are pursuing a path towards medicine, because we want to help. Older students who are going to medical school from Mays helped me, and I want to give back and help those who are interested in that as well.
That's truly a societal impact, just like the research and the teaching mission for Mays and Texas A&M University and higher education is all about. So that's great. Thank you. Last question, Sunjay, where can we find your work?
Sure. The main place is my health policy blog. I'm constantly trying to write articles. I've had the opportunity to interview really leaders in the field of healthcare, people who know far more than I do about healthcare policy, and people who I'm surprised even say yes and agree to talking to me. So those articles can be found on my blog's website, which is titled healthcarebysunjay.blog. The blog is titled Caring for Healthcare. So if you don't go to healthcarebysunjay.blog, if you just look my name up on Google, it should be the top thing that shows up. I really think it's come to define several parts of my undergraduate career thus far. So if you want to read some of my work, healthcarebysunjay.blog is where you can find it. I'm very excited about that.
Excellent. Sunjay, thank you for the time today. Really appreciate you sharing your story.
Thank you. I really appreciate you, Blake, for taking the time to talk to me about my whole experience at Mays, and thanks for making Mays a greater place.